Hi guys, this is DJ. Today is 18th June and today it's officially the end of summer for my farm. A first decent rain here yesterday night. All till yesterday except for 3-4 days in the middle where there was very light drizzle but it was cloudy. Other than that it was extremely hot summer all these days. But at the end of the summer, this is what I ended up with having all over the farm. Real lush growth with brinjals and pumpkins and all kinds of stuff with lots of nitrogen fixers all around. So the farm looks very lush, very full of green matter, full of nitrogen by the end of summer. So as soon as the monsoon starts for me, I'm going to chop all of this back into the soil. Maybe leave the pumpkin plants if we can, but we are definitely going to leave out the brinjal plants. But the rest of it is going to be just chopped and dropped all over the place to create a thick layer of mulch and to keep down grasses like these. Of course, it's we are doing it in a no-till scenario right from the go. We tilled this place first of all when we started it, but that was it. We don't want to till it anymore whatsoever. So you can see thick grass growth in the swale here, thick grass growth. All these are going to be full of creepers now, but look at that. Look at what we ended up by the end of the summer. It's all suable, most of it. Other nitrogen fixers here and there with brinjals underneath. I don't know whether you can see, there are brinjals there all over it. Let me see if I can walk you inside. It's very full of snakes, cobras all around. If I scream in the middle, you know what happened. So you see brinjals still growing, putting out some fresh growth and lots of fruit in this, which is going to be harvested today. But as you can see, it is dense and full of nitrogen fixers all around like that. See that? So that is basically how the farm is at the end of summer. Most farms are barren all through summer, no ground cover, sun beating down on the ground. I instead gave irrigation to this, to the weeds and to the brinjals through the summer. A little bit of it, of course, no flood irrigation or anything, just 4 sprinklers running once a week, just keeping them alive, keeping the hardy ones growing tall and giving shade to the ground and giving me all this beautiful biomass right at the start of monsoon. This is a great kickstart for me. When I chop and drop all of this onto the ground, it is ready, full of mulch, just for me to plant in the seeds and seedlings directly into this. Of course, the strategy you have to remember is that when you are doing this kind of a chop and drop kind of a thing, it's very difficult to go with tiny seed plants, like tomatoes and other things. You don't want to plant seeds into this because they might not come up through the mulch. So we are either looking at seedlings, planting seedlings into this thick heavy mulch, or we need big seeds, pumpkin seeds and other stuff. Big seeds that are going to take off in this kind of stuff. All of this is going to be chopped off. This poor thing in Maharashtra is banned because this is subabul, because it is thought to be invasive. It's very funny why people think so. It is genuinely let me say it correctly. It is an invasive plant because it finds good conditions out here. So if it drops seeds, most of the seeds germinate and they kick out some of the native plants. That is understood. But in a farming scenario, it is not invasive because it only puts out seeds once a year, and anything that has such a short window of reproduction is cannot really be that much problematic. At this stage, if we chop it, no seeds on it, so it's not going to be invasive whatsoever. So anything that it's invasive Don't be afraid, guys, just be on top of it. Actually, it coincides very well with the cycles of monsoon we have. It flowers in summer, pre-summer. So the pods are already forming by the time it is March, April, May. If you chop it down before that, or just as soon as you see flowers, that will give you pre-summer mulch to cover your ground with, and it won't be invasive. For me, as far as I am concerned, I let a few trees live, put out their flowers and seeds, and then sprinkle them all over here, broadcast them. This is all like 4 months growth, 4 to 5 months growth. All these tall ones, the 12 feet ones, are also just 4 months. That is huge amounts of carbon dioxide being sucked out from the atmosphere and harvested back into the ground. So we are actively reducing pollution here, building up biomass, and these are nitrogen fixers. They give such a good strength to the soil, so much so that in one more cycle I am not going to get grasses at all here. The weed regime will change automatically. So this is kind of what it is. You chop it off, but you have to plant in seedlings and saplings instead of tiny seeds. Like you can't get amaranth or stuff like that. You can't just grow in this because the mulch will be very, very thick, and the seeds won't ever reach the ground, and the seeds that reach the ground won't ever see the sunlight. So you have to do it with large seed, which is easy to plant into mulch, or seedlings and saplings. So this is kind of one of the strategies I'm implementing on my farm in Suparnakshetram, and this place is rocking. As you can see, it's full of produce, by the way. Very little maintenance. You can see some of the leaves dried, but still there are brinjals out there all over the place. We are going to sell. We're going to get probably 50 to 80 kilos of brinjals from these patches, and that's going to be sold today at market price. Not at the exorbitant organic price. We just sell it at market price, and we are still making enough money. So it kind of works out. Thanks for watching, guys. So there you go, a little bit of chop and drop of grass the ladies are doing. Earlier gents came along and they cut down selectively these ones, the subabul. Now it was so bushy you could not see anything in the earlier video, but now after, see where they are chopped off, they are going to put out new shoots, which is going to be the mulch for the next plantation. But at the end of it all, there see how it was dropped into beds and all that. But underneath it, we can see how healthy the brinjals have survived through the summer. Look at them. Beautiful plants. Yeah. Now we're going to backfill all the gaps in this with other plants. Right? We're going to plant tomatoes and stuff like that. Lots of stuff, all through this. If I go through here, a couple more steps, you can see how it is all through. That is the chop and drop as it happens at my permaculture farm, Suparnakshetram. Thanks for watching. DJ signing off.